Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 to Fastify with Mongo and Typescript and stuff like that. If you haven't watched the first video, I do highly recommend to watch it, and then you can watch this one and get more context. But yeah, in any ways, let's get started. Okay, so if you went through the first part of the video, we set up Mongo and Mongoose with MongoDB. Now we're just going to set up our authentication route. So over here, we're just going to create a folder under routes called auth. And inside there, we're just going to create a new file, say index.ts. And just for the sake of time, I'm just going to copy this and paste that in here. And then I'll just delete example. We don't need that anymore. Cool. So now we want to create a register route. So a post route over here, and it's going to be /register. And then for the other one, we're going to create it as /login. So let's do that. And both of these routes over here are post routes. Okay, so let's get started. So in the register, we gotta take in a body, and we are expecting, first we're expecting a specific type of body to come in the request, and we are expected to give a response for that, a successful response. So what I'm gonna do inside auth folder, I'm also gonna create a folder called types.ts. And in here, we're going to do all our magic when it comes to typing. So you remember that Sinclair project we added? So we're just going to get that in as well. So Sinclair, there we go, type box. And inside here, we're just going to bring in type, and we're going to bring in static. So this is going to help us generate our Fastify sort of schema. So I'll say const register request is equal to a type object over here, and inside here, for the request body, I'm going to expect a name, which is going to be of type string, and I'm going to expect an email, which is going to also be a type of string, but also I'm going to be expecting a format, and this format is going to be of type email, which is great. We get email validation out of the box, which is great because I don't know regex. And then password, we do type.string. So we have that now set up over here. Everything looks good. Now we're just going to create our register response. So const register response is equal to type object, going to be the same thing. And inside here, I'm going to pass back a token, which is going to be of type string. I'm going to pass back the name of the user, so type.string. The email is going to be type.string, and that's about it. I don't think I want to send back any more information. Cool. So what we're going to do also is now we're going to expose these back to the auth stuff. So what I like to do is I like to define my Fastify options over here as well. So what I'm going to say is const register options. So OPTS is equal to route shorthand. Oh, okay, I did it wrong. That's why it wasn't working. Route shorthand options over here. Okay, great. So this is going to help us get our TypeScript stuff. So we have a schema, and that schema is going to be an object, and we're going to take in a body of type register request. And for a response, we are going to send back a 201 for a register response. So this is what we're going to expose back. So let me just export this. So export that, and we're also going to export type of register body is equal to static type of register request. Cool. So that exposes the two things that we need from our auth file over here. So we'll just bring them in. We will just say import from types over here, and we're just going to bring in both our registers. So register options and register body. Cool. So now for our register options, what Fastify does is you can loosely define your API body and response, but we want to sort of strongly type it so we get the benefits of performance. And obviously, like in this small application, you wouldn't see anything drastic, but if this is for your own personal project or a serious project, then I would highly recommend you to type everything. Okay, so we put in our options as our second parameter in this function, and then we're also going to write down body, and it's going to be a register body, and that's going to help us type our body that is coming in. So cool. So now we have that. So now we can say const destructure of request.body. And all we need from here is our email and our password, right? What else did we add over here? Name as well. Yep. So we get our name as well from here. Oh, request doesn't. That's the way how you spell it. So now we got our email, password, and name, and the type system should pick up soon. What's this? Res quickly. Has no exported types. Do I not have register? Register body. Can't spell. Okay, cool. There we go. It's exported, and it's the body over here. And we hover. Okay, so that's string. That's email. They're all strings. So cool. So now what we're gonna do is insert this user into the database. One thing that I'm going to do is use bcrypt to hash the password. So what I'm going to do is here say const, actually bcrypt, let me import this. My computer's quite slow when it tries to record and do this as well. So we're going to export star as bcrypt over here, and then all we're going to say is bcrypt dot generate password. Where is it? Hash. Yeah, so over here where it's going to be a hash function, and its first one's going to be the string for the password. It's going to be the number of rounds, and this is a promise. So what I'm going to do is await this. So I'll say const hash is equal to await this, so that will give us our hashed password. And then finally we can insert this user, so we can say const user is equal to new fastify.store.user. Cool. So inside here we can pass in our other options. One thing that I can do is remove name and remove email over here, and then I can just spread the request.body over here. Cool. And then we can store also the password, which is the hash, and then the created at, which is going to be a new date, which is just going to give us now, and updated at, which is going to be new date. Cool. So that's going to give us our user. Another thing is we are going to, lastly, we're just going to be user.save, and this is going to be a callback function. So we're just going to be error, and then our user over here. And then all I'm going to say is if error or no user, then I just want to return an error. Okay, that should be fine. And then we just So inside here we want to return an error, so we'll just say return Fastify. Let's do Fastify dot HTTP errors, or HTTP errors, and this takes in. Okay, for now I'm just going to return an error saying user cannot be inserted. And then finally, we need to generate our token as well, right? As soon as the user registered, we also want to send back the token. So we'll do Fastify dot generate JWT, which we haven't set up yet actually. So let's do that right now, since we reached this point. So we're going to do that in the plugins, if you guessed correctly. We already got the Fastify JWT stuff in, so all we have to do for that is that we import Fastify JWT in, like so. Import Fastify JWT from Fastify-JWT, and then inside here we can register those plugins. So to do that, we just have to say Fastify.register, and it's going to take in our Fastify JWT. And then it's going to take in a set of options too. The first one is the secret, and it's just going to be a string. Please make your secret much stronger than this, and it's also going to take in a sign object. And inside here, I'm just going to say the expires in about 15 minutes. Cool. So that should give us our Fastify JWT. Did we not download this? Let's see. So let's go over here. Oh, we didn't. So let's do that. So yarn add Fastify JWT. So while that's loading, we can continue finishing this off. So one thing I want to do is decorate Fastify with a helper function. So we do decorate, and it's going to be generate JWT, and it's just going to be a simple function that takes in an email, which is going to be a string. And all it's going to do is return JWT, or I should say Fastify dot JWT dot sign, and it's just going to take in our email as an object. Cool. So we have all of that set up. One thing we need to do is, since this is a custom generate JWT function, we do need to define it over here. So we just have to say generate JWT, which is a function that takes in an email, which is a string, and then it returns a string. Cool. So that fixes that. There's some Fastify JWT stuff that it can resolve it, but that's totally fine. I know why that's happening. I just need to reload the window over here, and that should fix that. So now we are able to sign our JWTs, which is great. Now we can finish off the rest of our register handler. You can also go over here to see Fastify JWT brought in. Okay, so now if we go back to our register route, we should be able to say Fastify.generate JWT, and it's going to take in our user.email. So that's going to give us our token. And now once we have our token, that's like the last step. So we're just going to return the token back to the user. So we'll just say return reply dot status of 201, and then we're just going to send the user, and we will also send the token over here. And then we can remove this. Actually, we don't need to remove this. We just need to always return the reply. So let's do that. So generate JWT over here. And we see that it is email end string, and if we go back to support, we hover over JWT and we get some typing over here. Okay, so that's good. So we set up our register route over here. Let's also set up our login route. So to do that, let's start from scratch again. Let's try to copy all of this over, because most of it will be the same. This just has to change into login request. It's going to take in an email, and it's going to take in a password, and a login response is just going to be a register response, to be honest. So I'm just going to delete this. Finally, we're going to do our login options. So login options, and over here it's going to take a body of login request, and it's going to return, instead of a 200, it's going 201, it's going to be 200. And then finally, the login request, we'll just do login body. Cool. And that's all we needed. We are pretty much done for the types. So we can come back over here. Let's remove this that got accidentally imported. So now all we have to bring in is our login options and our login body. And that should be it. So now we just take our options over here and paste that in, and then we have to type our body. So to do that, we put 2 angle brackets, and then we say body is of type login body. Cool. So that gives us all the typing that we need over here. Now we can finish our login function, which should be similar. So we just say const destructure from request.body, and then from that we're just going to get the email and password. Cool. So we get that, and now we just need to fetch that user from the database. So we say const user is equal to await Fastify dot store dot user dot find one, right? And it's going to find one by the email that we just passed in, and then we're just going to execute that that statement. Now if the user does not exist, then we just want to return reply dot status of, let's just say 404, I guess, and then just send an empty thing. Otherwise, we're going to continue and just use bcrypt. So bcrypt dot spelled that wrong. Bcrypt dot compare compare should expose us a callback function that we can use. So we pass in our password, and the password that's passed in the body, and the user.password that was stored in the database. Finally, we get a callback of an error and is valid, which is just a boolean. And it's just going to be an arrow function. So now if error or is not valid, we're just going to return reply. Oh, this is what it was, get HTTP error, and over here you can specify an error. So I'll say 401 invalid invalid credentials. Cool. So we have that, and now finally we just need to generate our token. So const token is equal to fastify.generate JWT, and it's just going to be our user's email. So user.email over here, and then finally reply.status so our status is going to be 200, and we're going to send in our token, and we are also going to spread our user.to object. So one thing I learned is that if you're using Mongo, Mongoose, whatever, after you get the specific document from the database, always use to object. I've had trouble with it in the past. Let's see what's going on. So that's not how you spell const. That's how you spell const. So we have all of that. And then finally, we just return the reply over here, and that should fix that. What's going on over here? Can't find name token. Well, that's because we created you. Okay, so given that IntelliSense is just taking some time to kick in, everything here is good. So now if we do a yarn dev and see what we got. So just to verify what's going on, we're getting our password, we're hashing it, storing it in the database and all that stuff. So another thing is, let's go to our REST and create a couple more HTTP calls right here and here. Cool. So now this will be auth/register. This will be auth/login. And both of these are post request. This one's post and this one is post as well. So they will both have a content type of application JSON. Even this one over here, content type application JSON. Cool. So now over here, we want to send in our register request. So now if you remember, it's asking for our name, which is t.code. We're going to take in our email, which is, I don't have actually this email, t.code@t.code.com. And then our password is just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I think that's all the information that we asked. So let's send in this request, see what we get. Name is required. Yes, name is required. Let's see. Register. Register over here. Oh, user. Okay, so so save user compare. Okay, so let me do .to object. This might be the same issue that I was coming across. So let's save that and let's try this once more. The downside is that this email might already be stored. So let's just actually double check if that is the case. So if we go to MyDB, we do have a collection here called users. Let's view that. And we do have a person called t.code in there. So let's actually, and here's all the data. Let's actually delete this and let's create this person again. So send this request and we come back here with the token, the name and the email, and it's successfully stored in the database as well. If I refresh this, there we go. So now let's take this and let's keep this here for a second. So let's say content type is also application JSON and authorization is just bearer of this. And that's it. I just want to verify that we can actually do JWT stuff. Another thing is that I'm going to check if my login works. So I'll just say my email. I'm just going to copy this over because it's the exact same thing. So save that. That's might reload the thing. No, it doesn't. Okay, so let's send in this login request. Header must be valid. Type JWT head. What? Save that. Send the request in. Header name must be blah blah blah. Can you not? Just want to send it. Oh, okay, there we go. So we sent in the request. Let's send in the request again. Yep, this is right. Yeah, so this is generating a new token every time, which is saying that the authentication stuff is working. You can also see how long the request took. So now quickly we have all our JWT stuff set up. So now let's create a to-do folder over here, to-dos, and inside here, or I'll just name this protected. But anyways, index.ts over here. And what I'm going to do is just, let me copy this over here. Okay, so this is our basic function over here. That's a /get request. One thing that I did not register is my request context. So let's actually delete this for now. Our pre-handler 2, let's delete this and let's delete this. Cool, we'll just return an empty string. I do need to register one more plugin that's super useful. This is a context plugin. So if we go at the top and we say import from Fastify-request context, we're going to get in a Fastify request context plugin. And again, we just need to register this. So we say Fastify dot register, and it's going to register our plugin, and that's all we need to do over here. Let's see. Another thing is that we need to extend our context plugin types over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that down over here. So if we say declare module Fastify request context, and our request context data is our user, then we can use this all fine and dandy. Okay, so cool. So now if we go over here and we add in a hook, so Fastify.add hook, right? And this is on request hook because we want to validate whether that the request has a proper JWT attached to it. So all we have to do in here is we have to say await request. I should probably name this request. So request dot JWT verify, and that's going to verify our JWT over here. And if not, I am just going to try catch this at the top. Right, I'm just going to await this and try catch it, and if nothing happens, then I'm just going to reply dot send the error over here. So cool, I do have to make this asynchronous just so the await works over here. So now if we go back over here and hit our to-dos route with this bearer, actually we don't even need this body, so I'm just going to remove that. Found 0 errors, great. And then it starts. So if we send this request in, we get back a successful response. If this JWT is not the same, like let's remove something and send request in, it says authorization token is invalid token. So over here we are sure that we are protected with JWT on our routes. So generally, if you had public routes to begin with, you would just add what you would do is you would add a hook over here at the top, an on request hook, and it's going to guard all the routes that are created in the to-dos folder. And so you would attach another one over here and another one in another folder if you need. For your public routes, I recommend just creating a public folder and just not including this in there for safeguarding your routes through authentication. But yeah, this was generally the gist of setting up Fastify, TypeScript, MongoDB server. This is a much better way of doing it compared to my last video that I made with Fastify. So I do recommend doing it this way. It's much easier. And again, with Fastify's plugin ecosystem, it does make it super easy to build your application very quickly. So if everyone did enjoy this video, show some support down in the comments section. Let me know what you would like me to do next, and I will see everyone in the next video. Peace.